Think of what you do on a daily basis that involves movement. So whether that's walking up the subway stairs, whether that's carrying up laundry up the stairs in your house, whether it's walking your kid to school, think of one activity you do on a regular basis and kind of just bookmark that. If that activity starts to feel difficult, that's a change. Change in your symptoms represents something that deserves attention. So before you go to rationalize it, just notice it and don't try to normalize it. That's when you want to seek help. See us, we'll help you with that part.
Hey everybody, I'm Lori Schulweis.
And I'm Jen Giamo.
And welcome to a very special episode of Everybody Talks. On February 4th, we had the honor of hosting our very first live podcast and heart health event. It took place at the vibrant Floor Room at the stunning Moxy Chelsea in New York City, and we proudly partnered with Easy Spirit as part of their incredible Move for Heart Health initiative. It's a movement that reminds us that taking care of ourselves starts with every step we take, and that physical activity is one of the greatest acts of self-love we can practice.
In this episode, we are diving into a topic that affects every single one of us, but often in ways we don't always see, our heart health. We're so honored to have two world-class experts with us to bridge the gap between physical and emotional well-being. So settle in and get ready for a conversation that will change the way you think about your heart. Let's get started.
Let's get started.
Thank you for being at our first very live, in-person podcast episode. If we don't look nervous, then we're doing a good job because we're both a little
well,
frazzled.
we've never done in front of a live.
Yeah.
We've done live podcasts, but not in front of a live audience. So
Right.
This is very new to me. I have the Cindy Brady thing going on with the.
I know.
I think all of you can relate to that reference.
I
hope. I don't
exactly.
know. We are all women of a certain age in this
Yeah.
room. All right, we're gonna get started.
Get started.
Hi, ladies.
Hi.
We are so happy to welcome two esteemed doctors today. The first is a nationally recognized cardiologist whose expertise spans the full spectrum of care, from prevention to advanced therapies like heart transplantation, which she's probably off to do one of those after this podcast. She's passionate about women's cardiometabolic health and is known for her holistic approach, believing that we must treat the whole person rather than just the diagnosis. An award-winning educator, she's been honored by both the American Heart Association and the American College of Cardiology.
We are also joined by a licensed psychologist and clinical assistant professor at NYU, known widely as Dr. Rachel. Apparently, we just refer to doctors with their first name, Dr. Lala.
Dr. Manu.
Yeah, exactly. She specializes in the mind-body connection, focusing on stress management and behavioral change. A trusted media expert, she has appeared as a panelist with Oprah 3 times and was named one of Women's Health magazine's most inspiring women. Her new book, When Life Happens, is set for release in April, but you're all very lucky because you're all getting a copy of that book today. So
That was very
please-
Oprah. That was very Oprah.
And you're getting a book, and you're getting a book. So please welcome Dr. Anu Lala and Dr. Rachel Goldman. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Before we dive in to today's conversation, we want to thank our title sponsor again, Easy Spirit. Easy Spirit serves women 45 and over who are often overlooked by the footwear industry, and women who want shoes that look good, feel good, and actually support their everyday lives. I could vouch for they are so comfortable. We've been standing in them all morning. Here you go.
Partnering with Easy Spirit was a natural fit for today's conversation and for Heart Health Month. We love working with Easy Spirit. We're all our Easy Spirit people. They've been amazing. They truly support women in every stage of life, which is perfectly aligned with what we do at Everybody Talks, we hope. And we know that keeping our hearts healthy starts with staying active. So with that, Dr. Lala, do you want to share, you often say movement is medicine. Do you want to share what you mean by that?
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much for having us. I'm so excited to be here with Dr. Rachel. We've already shared so much in common in terms of our approach to patients and to health broadly. Movement really is medicine. It sounds cheeky and cute, but it is rooted in the highest quality science. And we oftentimes really put a lot of pressure on ourselves. Oh, I didn't get 10,000 steps today. I didn't hit 7,000. I didn't do the Stairmaster. I didn't go to the gym, et cetera, et cetera. Yes, it's great to have goals, but every step counts. Every step counts. Every amount of movement we do counts. So if you take the stairs instead of the elevator, it counts. If you take the subway stairs instead of taking the elevator, it counts. Walk to work, it counts. walking up and down the halls of your workplace, it counts. So I would say that we are appreciating more and more that while it's really important to have goals, we also don't want to pressure ourselves into not doing anything at all because it feels too daunting.
Right. Yep. Absolutely.
So here's the switch. How do you fit movement into your day?
I make small changes in my life and I incorporate it into my daily routine so that it doesn't feel so onerous. And when I can get to the gym, I get to the gym and I'm ecstatic about it. So what does that mean? Simple things. I take the stairs everywhere. I do, oftentimes when we're waiting for things, and we're all waiting all the time, instead of grabbing my phone and kind of putting my head down and just doom scrolling or boom scrolling, as I like to say, if it's inspirational content, I walk up and down the halls of where I am waiting, whether it's waiting for my kids during an activity, whether it's waiting for a patient record to be available to me. I'm just trying to stay moving. And that's why the step counts can be helpful as long as you're not obsessing over it. There's actually a new development in scientific literature that's showing and supporting this idea of small movements make difference, called exercise snacks. Have you heard this? I know you
I have.
love
That's
this,
brand
right?
new. I love it.
I think it's cute,
Yes.
and I think it's also very digestible. In the sense that I've got 5 minutes, I'm going to squat by my desk. I'm going to march in place. I'll take the stairs. I'll walk up and down the hallways. It all matters.
It all counts. And Dr. Rachel, what about you? How do you?
Yeah, so I'm very similar. I always say that I like to create moments, right? Because we all say we're so busy, we have so much going on, and everyone's like, I don't have time for that. But so we can create moments throughout the day. And to kind of piggyback off what you were saying, we have to get away from this all or nothing thinking, right? So if you don't have an hour, you can still do something, right? So 20 minutes of a walk. I said to a patient one day, I went running for 10 minutes one day. I was like, as silly as that sounds, I only had 10 minutes. I knew it was going to be really good for my body, but also for my mind. And I made it happen. So I think just creating those moments is really important.
And I think that's such a mindset shift too, because I think we're so ingrained to think we need to spend an hour at the gym. I know even for me, it's a big switch to then just saying, oh, I can really do 10 minutes of something. And it's still
it's better than
counts.
nothing.
That's right.
The
Better than
alternative
nothing.
is doing nothing.
Right. I'm never doing nothing.
Right, exactly.
No kidding. Someone who does everything. All right, so let's switch. Let's go back a little bit and talk about, cardiovascular disease, especially in women. We're all of a certain age. I think I'm older than everyone sitting up here, actually, but I am. Thank you. So, what are the symptoms? What are the signs? And how does that change as women get older? Why are they at more risk for getting heart disease than when they were younger?
Yeah, thanks so much for asking. So this Friday is Go Red for
Yes,
Women,
yes,
right?
it
It's
certainly
a
is.
national campaign, and it's something that's so important because it's about raising awareness. We all think of the classic heart attack as affecting this really hardworking man who then clutches their chest because they're so stressed, and then they go down and they have a heart attack. Heart disease is the #1 killer of both men and women, right?
Crazy.
And we just don't recognize that. We often think of women being affected by what we call bikini medicine problems, right? Ovarian cancer, breast cancer. And while those are wildly important and vital for us to monitor, heart disease still is the #1 killer of women. The reason that this sometimes gets missed is that we don't present with the same symptoms oftentimes. We can have classic chest pain, but we can also have heartburn that's not indigestion. We can also have palpitations at night that is a signal for either a stiff heart that can lead to heart failure, which I don't love that word, but changes in our heart function over time, weak heart muscle, stroke. There's a lot that fits under the umbrella of heart disease. And I think we oftentimes just think it's heart attack alone, and it's not. That's #1. #2, the symptoms for that reason can be wide spanning. And so it's really about not inducing fear, but empowering everyone to feel like they are monitoring their symptoms, that they're aware of what they're feeling. And I think that we often say, well, women often ignore their symptoms. I would offer that while that may be the case because we're so busy and we're pulled in so many directions, I think what we're more guilty of is normalizing our symptoms, rationalizing our symptoms. And we have a psychologist, she can tell us all about that. I mean, I'm short of breath when I walk up the subway stairs, which is different for me, but that's because I'm out of shape. That's because I haven't slept enough. And we rationalize the symptoms so that we can tuck it away and it's not something that we have to address. And so I think there's so much for us to keep in mind in terms of observing ourselves and not normalizing or rationalizing, just calling the symptoms out for what they are and recognizing that if it's a change for us, we should seek medical attention.
So how then do you differentiate what those symptoms are? Why is out of breath is just out of breath, or I'm having a heart attack?
Right. Okay. So wonderful question. I like to give a couple of tips and tricks to help us understand the context of our symptoms. So one, think of what you do on a daily basis that involves movement. So whether that's walking up the subway stairs, whether that's carrying up laundry up the stairs in your house, whether it's walking your kid to school, think of one activity you do on a regular basis and kind of just bookmark that. If that activity starts to feel difficult, that's a change. Change in your symptoms represents something that deserves attention.
Wow.
So before you go to rationalize it, just notice it and don't try to normalize it. That's when you want to seek help. See us, we'll help you with that part, right? So the power of observation of our daily lives is critically important. Shortness of breath. If you have more fatigue that is out of proportion to what you're doing, like you're like, why am I short of breath washing the dishes and having a conversation at the same time? Don't normalize it. Seek help. Ask someone, make an appointment with your cardiologist or internist or primary care doctor. I will say that this is crucially important in the context of knowing your numbers and knowing your risk.
Yeah.
That's my favorite sort of tagline. Do you have multiple people in your family who have been affected by heart disease? Maybe that means that you're at higher genetic risk. Do you know what your cholesterol is? Do you know what your blood pressure runs? Do you know what your blood sugar is like? And again, this is not to promote anxiety, it's to empower awareness so that you can seek the help you need. How many of us actually spend time at night being like, gosh, I hope nothing's wrong with my heart. I feel palpitations. I feel this. I don't know what this is. I wonder if my cholesterol is high. I hope I don't get a heart attack. Right? We drive ourselves nuts. Let's know the numbers. Equip ourselves with objective information, the power of observation in our daily lives, and then seek the right medical attention accordingly.
Do you think that we should be changing our approach to screening? Like, should people be getting calcium scores? What does that look like?
Okay, so this is a billion-dollar question.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
We all know that we have to get colonoscopies at 45. We all know that we have to get mammograms. And yet there's no one perfect test that we do for cardiovascular screening. It's a work in progress, right? That's because cardiovascular risk is personalized. It's not necessarily a one-size-fits-all approach. I would say the framework is, again, knowing your numbers, knowing your risk. So the American Heart Association has outlined what's called life's essential 8. I think it should be 9, which is psychological well-being.
Yeah, totally.
And this is, you ideally want to get at least 7 hours of sleep a night. Okay. You want to know what your blood sugar is.
So far, Lala, I'm one down. I'm one down right now.
And just be mindful of it,
Yeah.
okay? You want to know what your blood pressure is like. Ideally, less than 120. That's that top number over 80. So the top number is the pumping pressure. Bottom number is the relaxation pressure. Both matter, but if you have to keep one in mind, let's start with the top number. That's the pumping pressure. You want to know what your sugar is like. What is your blood sugar like? When you have your annual, just take a look at that glucose number. Is it super elevated or is it under 100 as it should be, provided it's fasting? You want to, movement is medicine. You want to get the prescribed amount of exercise. Now, the American Heart Association has specific recommendations on this too. You know this really well, right? 150 minutes per week of moderate activity. Now, we get this all the time. Like, what does that mean? Is moderate activity pickleball? Is it yoga? Is it walking on the treadmill? The tip we like to advertise or promote is if you can carry on a conversation but you can't sing, that's moderate activity.
Some people just shouldn't sing.
Shouldn't
though.
say. I knew you were gonna say
That's me. That's me. I
I
shouldn't
think
say
she's
that.
referring to me.
I
actually.
am.
So I think that's important, combined with maintaining an ideal body weight for you. Depends on your age, your gender, your risk. These are things that you want to know. The numbers are super important to place your symptoms into context.
Yeah. Okay.
Can I just ask you, so let's say you are at risk. Is there any, like, this is always my question because I'm older. Is it ever too late to turn this around?
Oh, it's never too late.
Never too
It
late.
is never too late. I see octogenarians in our clinic who have started a cardiac rehab and exercise routine and feel better and younger than they did when they were 75, for example. We see 20-year-old men coming in wanting to engage in a healthier lifestyle. And I would say it's never too early either.
Yeah.
And, so I would say every movement, every step we make towards positive health makes a positive difference.
Yeah.
To your specific question about screening, I think if you start with blood pressure and cholesterol and knowing your family history, that's a really important starting point. There is a blood test, to get a little science nerdy, that is
Please.
worth knowing, which is called Lp(a). Okay, that is a genetic marker of your risk of having heart disease. You only have to do it once in your life. We're in the process of getting medications available where that might be able to be brought down as well, but we're not quite there yet. But ask your doctor. I've never had an Lp(a) checked. Can we check that? It gives you an idea, again, of knowing your risk.
Okay, good to know. So speaking of aging, for women in the audience that maybe are going through perimenopause or menopause, you talk about this cardiometabolic collision. Can you explain what that is?
Now that sounds like such a negative word.
It does.
right?
I'm sorry
So
to scare anyone.
I'll say it's the perfect quote unquote setup.
Okay.
Which is cardiometabolic health is it's a relatively new paradigm shift for us in cardiology, which is we are getting out of our silos of care and recognizing that all of our organs are talking to each other. When they're having good conversations, it's good health, right? So that's the heart talking to the blood vessels, talking to the kidney, talking to the liver, talking to the gut, talking to the brain. It all needs to be connected and is connected. And if we just see cardiology or just see psychology or just see our kidney doctors, we're missing the larger picture. So cardiometabolic health is that conversation that's happening between organs in our body. So that's number one. Number two, during midlife, this represents a pivotal transition point. Perimenopause, menopause, we hear about this all the time in the media lately. We see declines in estrogen. Now, estrogen is not just a sex hormone. It's also a vascular hormone. It affects the health of the vessels. The heart has to pump out to the rest of the body through these vessels, and declines in estrogen lead to stiffer vessels, causing more stress on the heart, potentially leading to stiffer hearts. The last part of this is our lifestyle. So we've got natural aging, cardiometabolic health, or cardiometabolic disease, depending on how those conversations between the systems are going, and declines in estrogen, and then our lifestyle. How much are we moving? What are we eating? What is our genetic risk, right? How much are we sleeping? What's our stress like? What's our well-being? What's the state of our minds?
Yeah.
That collision, so to speak, or that meeting, that setup, can often be a pivotal transition point for a woman where cardiovascular disease manifests because of all of those things.
And with that loss of estrogen too, a lot of women, I know a lot of my clients come to me with visceral fat around their midsection, and that I know is also putting you at higher risk for heart disease. Is that correct?
Right. So a lot of our patients will come to us saying, like, I all of a sudden have this fanny pack of, fat
In the front.
And my weight, yeah. And my
It carries
weight-
nothing that I want.
Right, exactly. It's not useful. And in fact, it's hormonally active, and it signals and symbolizes inflammation.
Right.
So that is not the kind of fat we want. That's why we don't, when I talk about ideal body weight, it's really about weight distribution.
Sure.
We see changes in weight distribution. You can get on the scale and be like, well, I've always been this weight, but somehow it's not in the same places. And depending on where it's distributed, it can be more metabolically active and signal and symbolize inflammation. So that's a part of that constellation that we see, and that it contributes to cardiometabolic health or disease.
All right. Well, Dr. Rachel's been silent so far, so we'll give her a chance to talk.
I'm shaking my head a lot.
An important part of all of this is stress in your mind and how words matter and what you say and how you conduct yourself, how you want to feel like you're functioning, not failing in your life.
I know, right? We were having this whole conversation.
And so why don't you speak? Because that's really another piece that people now are realizing. It's not just like running 5 miles. It's also getting your head on straight and really like doing what you're supposed to be doing and wanting to do it.
Right. Yeah. And I love that we're talking so much about the mind-body connection, because that's, I think, the most important thing is to understand that our mind and body is constantly communicating to each other. They are sending signals. And unfortunately, because we are so on the go all the time, we're actually missing many of those signals. And if we don't have the basics, like you were just saying, the observable things that we already know, we're really going to miss those, because we're not going to know how it usually feels walking up the stairs because I'm not even paying attention, right? So I think that's the first step, is to really understand that there's this connection, and then to be mindful of the things you're saying to yourself, right? Like you even said, like, we're supposed to. It's like a should statement to me, right? Like, I should go to the gym. I should do 150 minutes. I should do this. But those words only make us feel worse, because the should puts pressure on us. And if we don't do it, it just leads us to blame and shame.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, everyone knows what they're supposed to be doing. How many talks?
We all
We've all been
know.
to like other talks. We've listened to other podcasts all about this topic. And you know what you're supposed to do, but
But we can't
you
do
don't
it.
do it.
Right.
Why?
Because of this. Our brains are actually keeping us stuck exactly where we are. And I actually talk a lot about this in my book, that our thoughts, our brain is actually wired for survival, not for the modern day life that we're living in right now. It is wired for survival. So it thinks that when you want to, whatever it is, say you're procrastinating by doing something, going to the gym, your brain prefers to not go because you don't know what it's going to feel like. Maybe it's new to you. Maybe it's uncomfortable. Maybe it's unfamiliar. That uncertainty can be really scary. And our brain is like, nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to survive, and I'm going to stay exactly where I am. So I'm going to do nothing. So all of these things actually get in the way, and it all starts from our thoughts.
Yeah, it's kind of like when I call Jen and she's running 10 miles on the treadmill, but I'm sitting watching TV. That's like,
Well, but then what I would say is, do you want to run 10 miles on the treadmill?
I don't,
Okay,
but it
so that's the
inspires,
first-
but I don't. I mean, I do I? But I don't, but I feel like
you should be doing something.
Right, doing something.
Right. But then I would say, let's think about what you actually see yourself doing.
Yeah.
Right. Like I had a client last week that had this great goal. We have the whole thing set up. We have a plan in place. And literally I say to them, now, is it realistic for you to do that this week? And he goes, oh my God, no. Like, why did I just set that goal? It is completely unrealistic, and I don't want to do it. I said, throw it in the garbage. Let's start all over. Like, it's not going to work.
Right.
So if you don't see yourself running on a treadmill, I would get rid of that goal.
Yeah.
The other thing, just kind of along those lines, is like someone who has a lot of anxiety or prone to panic attacks, asking for a friend.
Let's just take a breath.
Is there something to that? Like, could a panic attack spark a heart issue? Could you have a heart attack from too much anxiety?
As women, we spend every day moving the world forward, driving change and leading with heart. But this February, Easy Spirit wants to know, how are you moving for you?
We know heart disease is the leading cause of death for women, but movement is medicine. Easy Spirit has always championed the 45-plus community with shoes designed for real comfort and uncomplicated support. So we're thrilled to tell you about Easy Spirit's second annual Move for Heart campaign in partnership with Mount Sinai for National Heart Health Month.
Right now, when you pick up a pair from their limited edition Move for Heart collection, like the new So Easy, Easy Pay sneaker, proceeds go directly to Mount Sinai's Fuster Heart Hospital to support the life-saving work of Dr. Anu Lala.
So treat your feet and help hearts everywhere. Visit easyspirit.com and take a step for your wellness today.
Could a panic attack spark a heart issue? Could you have a heart attack from too much anxiety?
So I'm going to let you answer the first part of that one, and then I'll come back.
Okay.
So I think the heart is the greatest illustration of how much the mind and body speak to each other. When you're anxious, you feel that fluttering in your heart. You might even feel a little bit of pressure. And when you're having a heart attack or a different type of heart disease manifestation, you can also have palpitations that feel like anxiety, right? So it's like a feedback loop. They are connected. Could it be a representation? Could it lead to a heart attack or be a signal of a heart attack? Maybe, right? Again, the power of pausing, of observing, of taking that I say one conscious breath is a meditation. People say all the time, I'm not a meditator.
Just a breath.
Just take a breath.
Yeah.
That's right, you just meditated, right? And that offers just a little bit of space between the this and the this to say, okay, and just take an inventory of when you take that breath, does the heart rate calm down? Do you feel a little bit less pressure? Because then it could be more that the mind is driving it than the other way around. Now, if you say, well, I'm not feeling anxious or I have nothing to feel anxious about, why am I having these symptoms? What is going on? And that power of observation can then, in the context of knowing your risk and knowing your numbers, help equip you to seek help when you need it.
Yeah. So I want to add something to that because, so when we think of stress or anxiety, I think a really important thing to keep in mind is that our body goes into the fight or flight response, which is the stress response. But the important thing to know about this is your body goes into that even with a perceived threat. So the threat doesn't have to be real, but it could be perceived. It could be a psychological threat. It may not be a physical threat in front of you. So just take a moment and think about that. If our body is going into fight or flight, which is, the fluttering heart, the sweating, all of those things, and you think there's a threat, but it might not be, but your brain is like, oh my God, there's a bear at my window. There's a reason I use that example, which I didn't use the situation before, but if your brain is jumping to that or jumping to worst case scenario all the time, your body is going to be in that fight or flight all of the time.
We're shaking our head. No,
I'm pointing. I don't know. I'm not sure.
She's not shaking her head.
But it's so important because our body's natural response, like that's survival. That is keeping us alive. But then our body should be going back to homeostasis, its baseline, about 20 to 60 minutes after that threat is gone. But if we stay in that high stress state, that's where things like other illnesses can really start coming into play. And I don't like to say that it causes those illnesses, but it definitely exacerbates the risk.
Sure. Yeah. So for someone who has like stress that compounds over time, right? Is that sort of like you're in that freeze mode?
Right. Oh, I have great tips for you.
And you have, I was just going to say, I'm sure you have a lot of tips, but is that what that is? So it's like you're in fight or flight often enough or regularly enough that your body becomes conditioned to that feeling. And then any little thing that is out of the norm bothers you. Like Lori always jokes that I'm easily irritated by certain sounds and things like that because my awareness.
I want to add that's all sounds.
It's this sound.
I can't concentrate. So it's like my anxiety or my baseline is here. So tell me what to do.
So first, and I love that you mentioned the pause and breathing because that's my number one thing. But I like to think of it as a staircase approach or a ladder, okay? Throughout the day, we experience stress. Maybe it's we got stuck in traffic. Maybe you're late coming here. That your stress level just bump up a step on the ladder, okay? Now you didn't do anything about it to bring it back down, so now you're already here. Now a noise bothers you. Now you're here. Now the technology, I don't know, the camera wasn't working. Now you're here. Right? Now there's some other weird noise in the background. You're here, right? Now at the end of the day, you walk in the door, it could be a friend, it could be your partner, it could be your kids, and you're just irritable and you're blowing it, right? You're saying things you might not mean to say. The key is throughout the day that we find moments, again, going back to creating, we create moments where we can bring it down a level. We don't have to go all the way back, and we don't need to be like super meditating all the way down here. But you want to be throughout the day creating these moments to bringing it down a step. And I like to think of it as proactive preventative care, right? We don't know what we're about to walk into. Like I always say, whenever I'm about to give a speaking engagement, for instance, I don't feel nervous. I don't feel anxious, but there's probably something going on internally. So I just take that breath. It's bringing me down a notch. So then when something does happen, because life happens, then we're already one step lower. Right. So I want you to start creating moments, even right now. Take a breath, right, exactly. And
I'm
you're going to
hearing
bring
all
it.
the noises
I know.
behind me.
I know.
know.
Do that.
She
You're not
really
the only one.
But okay, I can do that.
Just to start with that.
Okay.
Because again, if I tell you a huge laundry list,
Sure, I'm not going to do it.
you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
So we're not going to try.
I'm going to forget too because I have
Right.
menopause brain.
But we're
So-
just going to say to pause,
Yeah.
create moments to breathe, or whatever works for you. It could be a mindfulness exercise. It could be a breathing exercise. I like to think of micro practices, like you're in the bathroom washing your hands. It's a great time to just take a breath, feel the water on your hands, and like use those opportunities. You're cooking, breathe in the senses, be fully mindful. That's how we create those moments and we bring it down a step.
Right. Okay. Okay.
You want to add to it?
I was going to add
Yeah.
one thing. One thing I do, oftentimes people will come into the office and they couldn't find parking and they're honking all over. It's New York City, for God's sakes. And they're like, my blood pressure is elevated. And you're like, well, of course it is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're
So
human.
I will wait. Correct. It's supposed to be that way based on what you've been exposed
Your body's
to.
working.
Yeah.
It's a good sign in the sense. So I actually turn on healing frequencies, whatever works for you. So personalize your moments of pause. So exactly like you said, and I'll wait. So don't let your physician
Yeah.
take your blood pressure as soon as you walk into that room.
Yeah.
Take a minute, do a couple of breaths, right? Listen to something peaceful if it helps you, and then have your blood pressure checked.
Do you think that doctors will start to recognize and treat stress as it relates to heart issues? Are we
I
like?
mean, I hope
I
so.
was just gonna say the same
I know.
thing.
But as a primary risk factor for cardiac health,
Yeah.
right?
I definitively think of it as a primary risk factor
Mm-hmm.
for cardiovascular disease.
Spread the word, then.
I'm trying. I'm
Yeah.
trying.
Yeah, we're trying here.
I think what we are seeing, I think the science to show the direct connection is evolving.
Mm-hmm.
It is there, and we need even more of it. But what is indefensible is ignoring that connection.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I think that's where we need to, we might say, real hardcore scientists will be like, well, we don't have the studies to show X, Y, and Z. Ignoring it is indefensible.
Yeah.
So let's start there.
Is there a way, I'm just going back to like the stress that you feel and all of that, and that you should be doing something and you're not. Is there a way to trick yourself? Are there cues that you could do to trick yourself into like eating right or going to sleep earlier? Like I fall asleep on the couch at 8:00 on the couch, and then I wake up and then I'm still up for 2 more hours because then I get into bed and I'm like, I can't go to bed.
Right. We know this pattern already
Right.
for you, right?
Yeah.
So I would say now that we know that, I would be like, okay, I fall asleep at the couch at 8:00. Let me start my bedtime routine earlier and get to bed earlier,
Yeah.
right? But we can be tricking our brain into anything, really. And most of the time, it's our brain thinking it's too hard. It's too difficult. It's too challenging. It's too overwhelming, so I'm not going to do it. But what if we just start now? What if we just start today? Oftentimes I tell my clients, just do it for 5 minutes. Just do it for 5 minutes. Because guess what? You're going to get on that treadmill and you're not going to do it for 5 minutes. You're going to go on for 10 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever you have. But so we have to simplify it, right? Our brains also wants it to be perfect, which there is no perfect. So if we tell ourselves something's better than nothing, done is better than not doing it at all.
Right.
And these little things that we can say to ourselves to tweak our self-talk is actually going to help us do it. So our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors are all linked. I know you guys have all heard me say that a million times, but our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors are all linked. If we're telling ourselves this is too hard or I can't do it, you're going to feel like you can't do it, and then you're not going to do it. So you don't need to flip it to be super positive and be like, I got this. I know I'm going to be great. But you want to be realistic and a little more motivating and encouraging. So I'm going to do it for 5 minutes and see how I feel. That feels really good. Then you're going to do it. You're going to feel great. You're going to have a sense of accomplishment and you're going to do it more.
Yeah.
So I just want to get into the science because Dr. Anu and I love sciencey things. I want to talk about this cardiometabolic revolution. We're seeing a lot of data now on GLP-1s and how these medications are reducing heart disease risks, right? So given your expertise in heart function, do you see that these drugs would become a part of standard of care?
Wonderful question, a loaded one.
Yes.
I think many things on this topic. One, I will say that I am oftentimes starting these medications not with the primary intention of having the patient lose weight, but to actually improve their cardiovascular risk profile. So this is very different from the vanity weight loss perspective. This is about cardiovascular risk reduction, right? We have ample data in thousands of patients, randomized controlled trials, the highest level of evidence that show that individuals who are at increased cardiovascular risk, when put on these medications and in the appropriate context, it reduces the risk of heart attack, stroke, heart failure, improves lifespan. Now, it's interesting because this was seen amongst people who did not lose weight as well.
Oh, wow.
So what are these medicines showing us? And we're in the process of continuing to figure that the underlying mechanism out, but it's targeting biology. We talked about visceral fat. You brought this up, right? We talked about how that visceral fat is hormonally active, how it signals and symbolizes inflammation. Right. These medications, these GLP-based medications, are targeting that altered physiology, that altered biology in a way that allows for improved risk profiles.
And so would you say then people that don't need to lose weight could be on these drugs and it have that?
In the appropriate context.
Okay.
So we use body mass index or BMI as a threshold. Technically, it is approved for individuals who are carrying excess weight, which is a part of their cardiovascular risk profile. Right? Where are we at the point where individuals who are considered in a healthy weight range can be on these medications? We're not there yet.
Okay.
We're not there yet. Will things evolve over time? We'll see. But this is an area of ongoing research.
Yeah, also, I mean, you're hearing about not only heart health, but brain health, like all the things with these drugs. It's crazy. It's just crazy. And it's always amazing to me that like people who are diabetic or on Ozempic for years, and nobody connected all the dots until now.
The dosages.
Because or the way it was administered, like weekly, and that's only going to get better and better as time goes on, don't you think?
The evolution from a scientific research perspective is fascinating because it comes back to how we are whole body systems.
Yes.
We are not just about taking medications for our heart or for diabetes or for our kidneys. Everything is related. And so cardiometabolic health and this framework and the medications used to treat cardiometabolic risk are showing us that in real time.
Yeah.
These GLP-based medications are perfect examples of showing the interconnectedness of systems. They also improve kidney health.
Yeah.
Right?
It's
People
amazing.
don't recognize that.
Yeah.
Women oftentimes have fatty distributions of their liver. I don't know if any of you have heard of this. Improves fatty liver disease as well. So it's treating biology on a systemic, holistic level.
It's amazing. I just to talk to some of the research studies. So some of the stuff I was looking at, this new sort of emerging research showing that we're looking more at treating disease instead of predicting it and reversing it. And there were a couple of studies I just want to highlight. One, I'm sure you're familiar, that we're finally addressing this gender gap in heart health, showing that women's hearts age differently than men, right? So there was a study in 2024 that found that after menopause, the plaque buildup in women's arteries increases twice as fast as men. So would something like hormone replacement therapy be treatment for that?
Loaded question number 2.
Asking all the non-controversial questions.
Sorry.
No, it's so important. Thank you for bringing it up. We talked about how estrogen is not just a sex hormone. We talked about how it's also a vascular hormone that leads to increased stiffness of our blood vessels and then potentially increased stiffness of our heart, right? So is this a pivotal time where we might see more heart disease manifest? Yes. Does it need to be integrated in the context of that perfect setup? Your genetic risk, your lifestyle, right? Yes, absolutely. That's why it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. That's why it's not universally predictable. What works for you may not work for you, may not work for us, right? And that's what leaves a lot of people feeling lost and feeling like, well, who do I trust? What's right for me? Why can't there be a one-size-fits-all? Should everybody be on menopause replacement therapy, or rather hormone therapy, MHT? I will say this. We are at the point where we need to gather more information. And the recent regulatory changes that we've heard about will allow for the appropriate research to be done.
Just to add to that, I think it's so interesting to even think of where we were in science and medicine 5 years ago, right? And probably tomorrow, literally, research is happening as we are having this conversation. Like I'm leaving on Friday for New Orleans to have a meeting with, obesity and GLP-1s, about the latest research. Like literally, we are doing the research right now and things are changing every day. And I think the most important thing, it's what we talked about before, is that really you see doctors who will look at you and actually look at you in the eye, look at you as a person and as an individual, and that they are treating you. And I think the most important thing is that you trust and you have a really good relationship with your doctor. And if you don't feel comfortable with them by asking them these questions, or you don't like the answers, or they're not asking about your stress, find a new doctor.
I just want to say, that is the $1 million find. To find the one doctor, and
we know a few of them.
I think we found them. I know it's true. I mean, one of the things that I feel, I'm going to bring up my age again. For some reason, I'm obsessed with how old I am today. But the one thing is that all these things didn't exist when I was going through perimenopause. I mean, I knew Jen then, and we would go out to dinner, and I had terrible hot flashes, and we'd sit through dinner. I'd be like, sweatshirt off, sweatshirt on, sweatshirt off, sweatshirt on. At night, leg out, leg in, leg out, leg in. All those things. Nobody knew any of these things. And I had breast cancer running in my family, so they were all like, no, you can't have HRT. It's too late. You can't do these things. And now I'm learning all these things now. It is amazing. I'm begging my 36-year-old sister to go to the doctor and do all these things, because
so important.
Do it now. Women in my office in their 40s, it's go now, do it now. And you, even then you're but finding the right doctor.
So
we are so lucky in this podcast that we've met all of these amazing women like you, talked to other amazing doctors. It's we're a very small, sadly, we're still a very small part of the population. So, thank you guys for putting the word out there.
I think too, is what we've learned is advocating for yourself. When you do go to the doctor, and like you said, if it's not the right doctor for you, change doctors, but being confident enough to say that or to make those changes and just speaking up for yourself, asking the questions. I have a list of questions that I write down when I go to the doctor.
I love that.
Same. I was just going to say that's what I recommend, because when you walk in that door, many times people get anxious or they get nervous and they don't know what to say and they completely forgot why they were even there. But to make that list, I always say also if you can bring a family member or a friend even, it's super helpful.
It's usually,
it's so important. Yeah.
There was one other study I just want to talk about really quick, because I want to get your take on it. So I was reading about gene editing.
Ooh, yeah.
So there's the first in-human trials that are editing genes in the liver to permanently reduce LDL cholesterol and triglycerides.
So this is a very exciting field. Is it ready for prime time? Not yet.
Okay.
But it is hopefully going to lead to the ultimate form of personalized medicine. We talked earlier about 50% is carrying the symptoms that you have, right? Or having a diagnosis. 50% is about the fear and the anxiety and am I getting the right care? Is this care right for me? And all these questions that we have around potentially not having trust in what's happening or the care we're receiving. Gene editing is moving towards a space where it is the ultimate personalized biological approach to medicine. I would say, while that is really exciting, there's so much we can do right now. Yeah. There's so much at our fingertips. Personalizing care doesn't necessarily need gene editing. It's if you don't have a doctor that asks you what brings you joy and what causes you stress, tell me about your daily life. I won't say find another doctor, but
I will.
Find
another doctor.
Tell them that. Tell them who makes you you, what makes you you, because that affords personalized care. Because it's not a one-size-fits-all approach for heart health, for mind health, for every aspect of your health.
Yeah. I'm going to stop with my science questions. And
we like the
I
science
let her
questions.
do all of that because it's kind of like the Charlie Brown teacher when she talks about science. It's like, wah, 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 wah.
She usually just tunes me out, but I'm
Call
glad.
me anytime.
I will.
I'm like,
But
much
no,
working on science.
I agree with what you're saying. It's like if your doctor doesn't ask us, but so many times you're in the doctor's office for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
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 I mean,
well, that's
you
another
seem
That
to
is
be
the
a
hard one.
very different type of a doctor that
yeah.
will take the time. They don't have the time. They're rushing you in, they're rushing you out.
Yeah.
So I think,
But all the more reason to come with that list of
yes,
questions.
Yeah.
yes.
All the more reason to do the pre-work to your appointment.
Mm-hmm.
It will make you feel more empowered. It will help you decide whether that doctor is appropriate for your care and your well-being. And it makes it easier on the doctor,
Yeah.
to be honest. It focuses the visit
Totally.
too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
All right. You ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready for that.
All right. So we're going to lighten it up. We've tried this a couple times on the podcast to have a rapid fire.
The
fun
heart to
question.
heart.
The heart to heart.
Lightning round.
Lightning round. All right. So one word answers. Okay.
One
One
I don't know if I can
one
do
or
that.
more.
Or one sentence.
Or one
I'm in
sentence.
fight or flight mode.
Yeah.
Right?
All right,
They're
we're
not
ready,
that
we're
hard.
ready.
They're not that hard. They're not that hard.
One deep breath.
Early birds or night owls?
I'm a night owl.
Early bird.
Ooh.
Go.
Red wine, good for the heart or just good for the soul?
Or just good?
Or just good?
Moderation is everything.
Okay.
What's the one? I'm sorry.
That's
Rachel,
right. We are one person. I was going to say moderation is key.
What's the one? This is longer than a rapid fire, but one thing you want people to take away from today. That's not how I'm ending it, by the way. But go ahead.
Okay.
Again, I feel like this is going to be very similar. In fight, start with one moment in your day that is fully present. It's your cup of coffee. Smell the coffee. Enjoy the fact that you have coffee to start your day off. Just bring a little presence. These moments, I love that, is crucial because it does bring you down. But I love that staircase analogy. I think that's wonderful. It actually allows for cardiovascular protection because you're getting out of that fight or flight mode, even if it's just for that minute. And one of those moments will lead you to have more of those moments throughout the day.
Yeah.
And since you already said moments, I'm going to pick a different
stole.
one.
I'm
Yes,
sorry.
no, it's great. I can add a different one. So I'm going to say to be mindful of the words you use when you speak to yourself because you're listening and it's going to impact your entire day and could impact your whole life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The number one health stat that women should know about themselves.
Know your numbers, know your risk. We'll go back again. Know your cholesterol, know your blood pressure, and know your family history.
And I'm going to add to that to know yourself. So for the stat to be, I know myself, I know what I can do, I know what's out of the ordinary for me.
Amen.
Yeah. All right, and then complete this sentence. A healthy heart is a blank heart.
It's a happy heart.
Aw.
Yeah.
I don't know. A healthy heart?
Healthy heart is a blank, is a what heart?
A compassionate heart.
Love it. Love it.
So I also think that, Dr. Rachel, like there's a daily ritual. I think we've talked about it, breathing. And so we want, what would you want everyone in the room to start doing? And I think you're going to help us
Yeah.
out with that.
Yeah. So as we were talking about taking the pause and breathing, I think it is so beneficial to take and create those moments throughout your day. So I always teach all of my clients diaphragmatic breathing, which is a breathing exercise that I think most people do wrong. Like if I said to you right now to take a deep breath, most people would do this. Obviously, I'm exaggerating it a little bit, but what that does is the complete opposite of relaxation. Right.
I love this.
I know. So what that does, it actually tenses up everything instead of loosening everything. So I want us all to do diaphragmatic breathing together. I'm going to teach you. It's going to feel weird the first time you do it. It's a little bit going to feel like you're patting my head and rubbing my stomach, that thing at the same time until you get it. But the key is that you practice it because I want you to now have it in your toolbox after today that you can pull from it whenever you need to. You could do that breath right before you need to, okay? So wherever you're seated, if you can, put both feet flat on the floor. I'm going to give you, well, do I need it? Oh, that's okay.
I think you do.
Okay.
Actually.
So I like to practice and teach it in a way that you're putting one hand on your chest and one hand on your diaphragm, which is your upper abdomen. When you're doing this in real life, you don't need to be doing this, obviously. But the reason we put our hands here is to see what's moving. You want to minimize your chest moving and you really want to be moving through your diaphragm. I'm going to illustrate and show first. So when you're going to take a breath in from your nose, and when you're breathing in through your nose, you're going to imagine a balloon blowing up in your stomach. I'm going to exaggerate it, but it's going to look like this. When you breathe out, your stomach goes back in, okay? So let's try that together. I'm going to take a breath in through your nose. Your belly is expanding. And now exhale. Your belly goes back in, okay? I want us to do it again. Take a breath in and out. When you're breathing out, imagine you're blowing out through a straw, or you're like blowing birthday candles. Breathe in and out. Take one more together. Breathe in and out. So what you may have noticed is that your chest was moving, okay? It's going to move, that's okay. But the goal is to minimize the movement. For a lot of people, if that was new to you, it could have actually, like I'm curious, well, you probably know how to do it. But it can cause anxiety for some people actually, because you're not used to either pausing like that, taking that time to really breathe, or focusing on your breath and what's happening when, which is why I recommend that you practice it. But if you didn't like it, if it caused anxiety, throw it out the window and do a different breathing exercise.
I like it because of the somatic effect of it.
That's
right?
why I love it.
Yeah, because otherwise I'm definitely breathing out of my chest.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
It's until I touch my diaphragm, my stomach, that I can feel that expansion and that
Exactly.
retraction. But otherwise, no.
Yeah. Well, that's why I love teaching it that way, because you really, again, most of us don't breathe through our diaphragm. And in the moment when you're really in a stressful situation, if someone's like, take a deep breath, that makes it worse.
Of course.
We also focus, I'd be interested, I love breath work, and I treat and recommend breath work just the way I do medications. It's the and, it's not the or. Focusing on the exhalation. We see take a deep breath, and just like you saw Dr. Rachel do, it's all about the inhale, right?
And you forget to exhale.
And then we forget the exhale, and that's the most important part. That's what's activating the parasympathetic nervous response to bring you down to the calm.
And then having your exhale be slightly longer than your inhale.
Exactly.
Right, to really calm. I do that at night to try to sleep.
It's great.
And that seems to work.
Yeah. I usually recommend, if you're going to practice.
By the way, you are one person.
But I do recommend that you practice it first thing in the morning and before you go to sleep, because it's multi-purposeful. First thing in the morning, the alarm goes off, your brain is already running, but just take that moment to kind of reground yourself and reset yourself. And at bedtime, it can actually help encourage good sleep as well.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Do you hold the breath for a certain amount of time, or release it immediately?
So I love that question, and we always get something like that.
Repeat the question so everybody can hear?
I'm sorry. So the question is, do you hold the breath, and do you hold it for a certain amount of time or not? So the psychologist part of me, and you might say something different, is do what works for you. Because some people like the 4 breath, the 5 breath, the this, the that. I just think you need to figure out what works for you. And sometimes that's to do it a few times. And then you're like, all right, this is what works. But you do want it to be longer than a quick, short breath. Do you have science for that one?
I think that's perfect.
Is there science? Does anyone have science?
No, I know a lot of the science of it, but usually if you give the science data related to that one, nobody's going to do it anyways. Because you're going to go home and be like, did she say to do 4 seconds or 5 seconds? Who cares?
Box breathing, 4, 7, 8.
Exactly.
I know all of that. I know.
Just do the one that works for you.
But
We are one.
the only thing I will say is the exhalation.
Yes.
Be longer than the inhalation, which we've already said.
Is there anything else that you
I don't know.
want to add?
Is there
Anything else you want
last
to add?
licks?
I'll share one thing that I
yeah.
love about what I do, and I didn't know this, but Dr. Rachel also worked a little bit in this space in her past, is we deal with heart transplant medicine. In today's world where things are seemingly more and more divided and painful and stressful, what I find so beautiful is that you can have someone with a failing heart who's waiting for a heart transplant receive a heart from someone else who has died. And that heart, no matter what their caste, their creed, their race, their ethnicity, their gender association, it works the exact same as any other heart.
I love that.
And it's such a powerful reminder
It
of
is.
how we truly are one and the
Yes.
same on the
Yes.
inside. And if we can remember that, we will have happier and healthier hearts and more compassionate ones.
Yes.
Oh my God, a perfect way to end.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, we want to thank you both so much for being here, spending time with us, and our sponsor, Easy Spirit. Just a reminder, they're continuing their second year of their Move for Heart campaign in partnership with Mount Sinai for National Heart Health Month.
And we said this at the beginning, but it bears repeating. As part of the initiative, Easy Spirit will donate $25,000 to Mount Sinai to support and advance the work of Dr. Lala, who's dedicated to improving heart disease prevention and treatment for women. Together, Easy Spirit and Dr. Lala aim to foster a stronger, healthier community, encouraging women to take meaningful steps toward wellness at their own pace, which I think we've done a little bit of that today. And thank you for joining us for that.
And just in addition to Easy Spirit, we want to thank all of our sponsors today, Carrot Express for the delicious food, the Comprehensive Wellness and Aesthetic Med Spa doing skin consultations. They're my favorite new friends. Love Me, Love You for the beautiful heart necklaces. And if you didn't get one, make sure you pick one up on the way out. Now Foods, and of course, our friend Laura Geller for her gorgeous makeup
Calling
goodies.
you out. We're calling you out, Laura.
You will find in your gift bags. She has generously donated some of her products.
Right. And of course, we want to thank again the Moxy for hosting us here. And a little special shout out from Jen and I to Christine Bibbo, her and her husband, John, who connected all of us, put it all together. And really thank all of you for coming, showing up, being part of our first, hopefully not last, live podcast. So we're all wearing the sneakers. And I think the lesson here is let's get moving. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you all.
So a couple of days have passed.
Yes.
And how are we feeling? Like that was, I've watched it, we've watched it back. We hope you enjoyed listening to it. How are you feeling? How are we feeling about the whole experience?
I love the experience. I feel pretty good about it. It's funny. I feel better now having watched it back than I did immediately after, because I was so in my head about the whole thing. But I think it was fantastic. I think everyone had a really good time. Everybody's sharing a lot of photos and videos all around social media. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is really weird. You and I have been to so many events, and it is so strange that this was ours. Like, it was amazing.
Yeah.
And it was so strange.
Feeling. It was a good feeling.
A really good feeling to just look around and know and kind of lead the discussion. It's like we kind of really looked like we knew what we were doing. So it made me feel good.
I think we did. Well, we had two amazing experts to kind of
God,
hold the floor. So that was fantastic. I mean, they're so great. We've spoken to Dr. Rachel before, but this was our first time with Dr. Lala, and she was just amazing.
Yeah, it was it's nice to meet them, and Easy Spirit was like an amazing partner with us, and it's just like doing the whole thing. I guess this is the point. I saved this to the end, but we should shout out a very special thank you to Christine Bibbo, who kind of put us all together, put us in touch with each other, kind of connected the dots.
She was the connector. Without her, we would not have had this event. I mean, we were able to get other sponsors in addition to Easy Spirit. And just to say, Easy Spirit was such a pleasure to work with.
So much.
The fact that they gave so much to this event. They gave sneakers to everyone who attended. So that was cool. But just the whole, from the setup to the breakdown and everything, they were really, really great to work with. But
I know. It was
Christine,
really
big
exciting.
shout out to Christine.
Yeah, everyone should follow her. It's at New York City Pretty, and she does a lot of wellness and beauty and fashion and lots of great wellness
NYC
tips.
Pretty.
NYC Pretty.
Yeah.
What did I say? New York City?
You said New York City.
New York City. Oh, I guess it's NYC. Yeah, you're right.
Probably everyone follows her anyway.
I know. I guess that's true. But yeah, I just thought it was so exciting. We were so nervous. So nervous. But once it got going, I think my nerves kind of abated a little bit. Yours, I'm not sure that they did.
It didn't really come across. I don't think that way. I don't know. Maybe our listeners will say otherwise, but I don't think it came across in the episode. The other thing I was going to say was that the energy in the room was so just off the charts, right? Everybody was chatting and meeting new people and having, something to eat. And it was just, I don't know.
And also I was really touched by, we've made some friends in this wellness space that we never would have met if we hadn't done this podcast.
Totally.
And they all showed up for us.
They showed up for
really
us.
like showed
Yeah.
up. And
Yeah.
that is, I don't know if it's a testament to us or the kind of energy we have, which I love our energy, you know, if I do say so myself, but also the kind of people that we have, you know, kind of brought into our circle.
I
of
think it's the people
you know?
that they are, you know, I think
Yeah.
it's the people that are just, they're women supporting women, and they
Yeah.
actually walk the talk, you know, they say it and they
Yeah.
do it. And they've become friends, which is really
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. It's nice.
Yeah. So I can't wait for the next one.
I know. This was not the last. This was not the last
Definitely not the last.
live podcast event, for sure.
I've already started, by the way. I've already started
I
taking
have
my
no-
notes
I have
for
no
the next
doubt.
one. I've
No
got
doubt.
some good topics lined up for us. So stay tuned for that.
Oh my God. So, well, we do want to give we had other sponsors. There were other sponsors there besides Easy Spirit who donated. We gave away these amazing gift bags, which, like, just the fact that we had an event that gave away a gift bag. I mean, how many gift bags have we taken home?
Exactly.
Right?
Yes. Yeah.
So here are some thank yous. And they also help fill the room with amazing energy. To Ultima Replenisher for keeping us hydrated with clean, sugar-free electrolytes. Now Foods, who provided natural wellness essentials that fuel our daily health routines. Love You, Love Me, whose beautiful jewelry. We were both wearing necklaces. Mine was a little less visible than yours. To remind us that love for others truly starts with self-love. Who else, Jen?
Yeah. And my new favorite friends at the Comprehensive Wellness and
Right.
Aesthetics Med Spa, Ilana and Katarina, were there on site. So thank you to them for their commitment to whole body confidence and rejuvenation. Laura Geller Beauty, one of our dear friends, for celebrating
Yeah.
beauty at every age and helping us all get our glow on. And a special thanks to Carrot Express for the delicious, heart-healthy food that we enjoyed the day of the event.
And also, we'll give another shout out to Christine Bibbo Her at NYC Pretty and her husband, John Her, whose photographs you're going to see for years to come. For
Yes,
years and
yes.
years to come of Jen and I and this event. And just a big shout out to bring us together. And her own passion for wellness and style curated this incredible space and brought us together with our incredible partners. She really pulled it all together with us. So we really appreciate her and are happy to count her as a friend as well. So we hope you
absolutely.
enjoyed this. It's one of our favorite episodes I could say we've ever done.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm Lori Schulweis,
And I'm Jen Giamo.
and this was Everybody Talks.
Talk to you next time.
Take care.
For more information about our podcast, to learn more about us, or to catch up on all of our episodes, go to our website at everybodytalkspodcast.com.
Follow us on Instagram at Shirley, at Jen Giamo, and at Everybody Talks. And if you want to watch today's episode, go to our YouTube channel at Everybody Talks Podcast.
If you want to be a part of the conversation, join the Everybody Talks community and become an exclusive member of our wellness group. Check out the link in our show notes to learn more.
Don't forget, if you like what you've heard, give us a 5-star rating, write a review, and tell a friend. We're for everybody and everybody. The Everybody Talks podcast is co-created, executive produced, and hosted by us, Lori Schulweis and Jen Giamo. Produced and edited by Station 16.
Our theme song music is written and performed by Jackie Ryle and Aaron Navisi, with additional support from our pups, Oliver, Milo, Murray, and Frankie.
Talk to you next time.